Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Nothing plain about this, John. Good morning.
You're certainly not plain.
I'm Peggy Burton.
You never have been plain. Been on a plane.
Been on a plane.
Been on a few
many
planes.
a plane.
You know, I haven't. I've flown a little bit, but not a great deal.
I have flown across
all over the world, haven't you?
And across the China Sea, and you name it. I've been up there in the air.
You've been to some of those exotic places, haven't you?
A few.
Like, have you ever been over in like Marrakesh or any of those things that we see in the movies of
I've not been there, I guess.
With beautiful silks and clothes and.
Well, I've been in Hong Kong.
Exotic Hong Kong, yeah, I guess Hong Kong. That'd come pretty close, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be pretty close. Then I've been to the Riviera.
The French Riviera?
French Riviera.
Is it beautiful?
The main thing I remember is the naked people on the beach.
Naked people on the beach.
It wasn't a pretty sight.
Wasn't a pretty sight. Well, I guess it probably.
No, it's kind of interesting that everybody was so casual.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually at the beach to be at the beach. We were just passing, driving through, but it was an interesting event.
You know, we and I don't know exactly how to say this without somebody probably being upset about it, but, you know, we live in southern United States of America in probably the biggest Bible Belt area in the world, and a lot of things that the rest of the world sees as just normal.
Just normal everyday stuff.
Is a no-no for, you know, extreme no-no for a lot of the people in a strict religious context.
Right.
But the rest of the world just goes along and
well, they're just people.
Lets it swing.
A lot of people see things in different ways.
Sure.
I remember sitting in a hotel in London when we were trying to get a home to live in, and we were there with our children, and we went into this area where we could watch TV because they didn't have it in our rooms, and all of a sudden a soap commercial came on, and it was just a naked man soaping himself down, and I just had to jerk my children out.
You didn't have to, but you did.
But I did, yeah. It was very shocking to me.
Yeah.
But you know.
And I mean, in a lot of those countries over there, they have the naked news and.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's just
to
weird
get people to watch, they have topless women doing the weather and
right.
stuff like that.
It's kind of weird to me.
It is. But you look. You know, there was a time when we watched a lot of British TV.
I love British TV.
And the comedy is absolutely hilarious.
I think it's the best comedy in the world. It's just subtle or something that it always wipes me out. Monty Python, I've just got enamored with him.
There was a show that Fran loved to watch called Have You Been Served?
Yeah, I know
and it was about a department store.
Right.
You know, like in a big city like a Harvey's or Kane Sloan in Nashville would have been. And it was about the people who worked in the store. And
I love that one.
It was absolutely hilarious. And then there's one with three old men that roam around together.
Right.
And there's a fourth one that comes in every now and then.
And there's a female.
And the female is she rules the world.
High class and highfalutin, and her family is kind of low class.
Yeah.
And she won't be seen with them.
It's so funny. It's so funny. And the movie that was done years ago, the Full Monty, about the four guys who were trying to raise money, and they did a nude strip deal,
right.
And they were just regular guys.
Right.
One of them, I think, was maybe a fireman, and one of them was retired, and one of them did this and that. And I saw recently that those same guys are doing that movie again.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yes.
The same one.
Same guys.
That'll be hysterical.
it will have to be hysterical. It was hysterical the first time. Think about those same guys 20, 25 years
They've
older.
learned how much comedy they've been
Or how much
through.
they've lost.
Yeah.
So it's, but we're in fall time right here in Tullahoma, Tennessee,
Actually, it's
and
real
Middle
pretty out.
Tennessee. And if you follow the internet, on anything, I mean, people TikTok, people Facebook, whatever they do.
Whatever they do.
Some of the fall foliage is absolutely
it's
gorgeous.
phenomenal.
The pictures from the Smoky Mountains and different places that folks are
My
traveling.
son sent me a picture, and I stuck it on Facebook because it was so intriguing. He and Kathy, his wife, had just climbed Mount Zion, and they took a picture, and you could see all the foliage in Colorado. It
beautiful.
was so pretty.
And I saw one lady had put a picture on there, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Fall Creek Falls is really
It's real
beautiful
pretty.
right now. And she said, no matter what else is happening in the world, the beauty of the
remains.
creation is around us everywhere.
It's around us everywhere.
And find solace in that instead of being wrapped up in other people's petty greed for $1.
I know. There's a lot of sad news, though.
Oh, heavens, yes.
A lot of sad news, and I think we still have to fight to find peace by looking out and enjoying nature. It's beautiful.
Yes, and
Fall is
remember,
one of the
no
prettiest
matter
times of
what
year.
religion that you are, and there are numerous strong religions in the world, all of them are based on love
That's right.
and
peace
care
and caring.
for your fellow man until the politics of whatever country it is gets behind it and starts funding it and changes all of that
Changes all
into,
that too,
I just
yeah.
can't think any of the religions that are involved in this war over there. There's nothing in their dogma that says let's go out and cut people's heads off
And kill 5 million people today.
Yeah, murder people. It's just, I don't know, but brings about a couple of things.
Yeah.
I'm from a country that allows all who live there to be free to learn, free to grow in whatever direction you choose, knowing that your success is only bridled by the amount of work you put into developing the road to your happiness. But society does not always define success with happiness. A decision must be made. Who is most important to please on your journey across the pond of life? Should you be the stone that falls in the middle of the pond, making a big splash, then sinks to the bottom? Or the ripple that touches every grain of sand at the pond's edges? I think I'll be the ripple.
I think so.
And the other one is, lay aside the rules of the world. Lay aside society's demands for success. Lay down and be the track, the path on which the grace and humanity is delivered. Forget the jet, be the rails.
That's good, John.
So, a couple of things to think about. We're here together.
We're here
All of
together.
us. We're here together.
And let's try not
to
to fight
love
every
and
day.
serve, and make sure that everybody's taken care of and everybody's happy. And it's not going to always be that way or ever be that way. It never has been.
No, and it's if you don't ever get sad, then you don't know what happiness is.
Yeah,
If you don't
and-
lose, you don't know what it's like to win, and vice versa.
Speaking of that, I look at the little lady behind you on the other side.
I
And,
know.
there she is. And this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
The newspaper did a really nice set of articles.
Yeah, and this is a true story about a friend of mine. Within minutes, it was like I'd known her all my life. She felt the same, took my name and ended up my wife. Everything I liked, she liked. We were soulmates from the start. Then the cancer showed up. So I sing with all my heart, pink is the color of hope. Blonde is the color of her hair. The dollar's green is the color they all want. No matter what you've got, there's never enough there. When the pain in her eyes makes it hard to cope, pink is the color of hope. It's hard to view the world she loves from a chair inside. The horse unbridled in the field that she used to ride, the flowers growing by the walk that bloom without her hand, like Alice in the looking glass. But now she understands that pink is the color of hope. Blonde is the color of her hair. The dollar's green, the color that they all want, but no matter what's there, it's never enough. It's never enough there. And when the pain in her eyes makes it hard to cope, pink is the color of hope. The hurt comes when friends don't. The phone seldom rings, but she knows I love her, and that's how I can sing that pink is the color of hope. Blonde is the color of her hair. The dollar's green is the color that they all want. And no matter what you've got, there's never enough there. When the pain in her eyes makes it hard to cope, pink is the color of hope. Yes, in love hand in hand, we'll travel this road where pink is the color of hope.
That's beautiful.
And Fran and I wrote that with our friend Troy Durham.
Yeah.
And that was his story. And I know he wouldn't mind me reading that.
No, he wouldn't.
Because he did a concert several years for breast cancer. And that's the true story of how that horrible disease can affect a life and a family
and all the family.
And a love.
That's right.
So,
but cancer has come so far.
It has come. It has come. It's not the death sentence always that it once was, and that's because of research and fine doctors and scientists and money.
Yeah.
So if you have extra money that you need to put on something, remember, pink is the color of hope. We'll be back after these messages.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Tennessee trash. Lord, ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate, Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, as you've looked behind us, you see a pumpkin and you see an old warlock right here. And Witchy Pooh.
And I don't have my hat.
Witchy Pooh doesn't have her hat
And I loaned
today.
my broom out.
But
Sorry.
Halloween's right around the corner, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And so be careful, be safe. Watch the little kiddos running around in spook outfits. And,
Yeah.
so one of our kiddos, and he's the biggest kid we have here. Well, no, Andrew's probably the biggest kid we have here. Philip's second biggest kid. Went out to the Brockman farm, and they have a Halloween display out there that is none can compare to. And so what we're going to do is take you right now to the Brockman Halloween dancing lights.
Hey, we're out at the Brockman's house out on Dabbsford Road again for Halloween lights and blow-ups and just all kinds of stuff out here. Can you tell us why should people come out and see what's going on over here?
You guys know why they should come out? So we got all kinds of spooky stuff to look at.
Lots of skeletons, right?
Lots of skeletons for the people that go through here.
And projections.
And yeah,
What else? Blow-ups.
a lot of blow-ups and a lot of projections.
So what are projections for people that don't know?
Can you explain to them what a projection is? The projections, we use different formats to project different things on. We've got ghosts out front that are singing, telling jokes. We've got pumpkins. We've got a dance party. We've got skeletons dancing. And we also have the Haunted Mansion. So.
Okay. Well, tell them a little bit, like, it's not just you drive up into and watch in your front yard. Can you explain a little bit about the path and things like that?
Yep. 3 years ago is when we first started doing the drive-through, where you go all the way around the house, and there's stops periodically, the pumpkins and the skeletons and Haunted Mansion projections. You stop and listen to it. The pumpkins and all that's about 3 to 6 minutes. Haunted Mansion is about 10 minutes if you wanted to watch all of it. I think the ghosts in the front are about 10 minutes. So it's worth sitting and watching all of it if you have the time.
Okay. And what days and hours can people come by?
Well, we're Monday through Thursday would be up till 10 o'clock, starting at dark. And then Friday and Saturday we go till 11.
Okay. And is there any charge for people to come out?
No charge. We do accept donations, but it's not expected. You don't have to, so we just want people to enjoy it.
Okay. And so how do you create the projections? Like, I see your house is on fire over here.
Yeah, I take a lot through different effects and cut and paste a lot of things together to make the projections. I do have some puppet software that I use also to make them talk. So it takes a lot of sitting and watching.
And how did you learn how to do that?
Trial and error. Honestly, I tend to be a digger. I research a lot, so I tend to dig until I figure it out.
Okay. All right, and so we're just a little over a week out from Halloween now. When did you start putting up decorations?
Well, we started about the second week in September, so we've been changing a lot this year. So it was a lot of new stuff we had to do and build, and so it took us a little longer than we wanted to, but that's the big thing with us, though. We don't do the same thing every year, so we try to change stuff up and add new stuff. So.
Okay. And could you tell us your address again one more time, and we'll show the people what they can come out and look. We'll give a little preview.
It is 1825 Dabbs Ford Road, Deckard.
And it is out in the middle of nowhere if you don't know the back road of Deckard. So put it in your GPS. Don't just guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Say Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
Close your eyes and don't try to hide. For a scary spook that is by your side. Shrouded in your darkest eyes. They pretend to paralyze. Really will start to socialize. As the moon climbs high over the yellow tree. So bright the midnight tree. Creepy creeps with eerie eyes. Dark as red and hard all night. And we will start to socialize.
Run away from the werewolf. Why? Because he had no guts. Come on, that was funny. Oh well.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton's Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go on.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with sodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Hi there, this is Terry Stroop, Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration. Summer's about to wind down, fall's right around the corner. It's time to get signed up for your fall maintenance checks, and let's get out and support our local high school football this year. Let's go, Cats!
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
You know what? There's nothing better in the morning than a visit with our friend, Miss Laurel Stone, and a good cup of Fuel So Good coffee.
Yeah.
I love it.
Here to talk coffee.
And this girl right here is one of the busiest bodies, not a busy body.
No.
Not getting in other people's business.
Nah.
But she's just busy. She does so many things around our community. And this is another good one. What's going on?
Well, once again, Imagination Library of Coffee County is doing our fundraiser at Fuel So Good. It's our Give the Gift of Books fundraiser we're doing with Fuel So Good at 1407 South Jackson Street, North Jackson Street.
North Jackson Street.
1407 North Jackson, this side. And we're doing that on November 3rd, partnering up with them.
And if you haven't been in Fuel So Good, this will be a great opportunity for you to go in there, try out their coffee. You know what's in there that I just can't do without?
What?
The cookies.
Oh, yes.
She makes
Wonderful
some great bakery, and the chicken salad.
Chicken salad?
Is incredible. But the most important thing she does for me, Noelle and Josh.
Burton.
Josh is the roaster and does all the coffee stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She makes the best key lime pie that I have ever eaten in my life north of Key West.
I believe that.
And
she's a great baker.
She is, I'm a pie person, and that key lime pie is absolutely fantastic.
She uses quality ingredients, and it's made with love. All of her bakery items, and I believe you about that key lime pie. And great cupcakes and muffins, too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they are very involved in the community, as this shows right here.
Yes. Yes, they've been partnering with us and letting us spread the word about Imagination Library and raise money for, I think this is the 3rd or 4th year of us doing it. I have to double check, but they've been doing it for a few years for us, and we try to raise more and more every year, and we're hoping that this year we'll set another record.
Good. And you know what? Let's go through the explanation of Imagination Library, because a lot of people know about it, but there might be some people out there who don't understand the concept.
Okay, well, Imagination Library is a program that sends children's books in the mail to them once a month at no cost to the families. From birth to 5 years old, they can receive a book once a month in the mail, and that child gets their book, and that family reads the book together, and that child builds up a library, and they're getting all that love for early literacy And all of those things, they need to be ready to read in school. And so that's what Imagination Library is. It started back in 1995 with Dolly, and then later in Tennessee, our Governor Bredesen started the Governor's Books from Birth Foundation. And so we have a lot of support in Tennessee. The thing is, Dolly doesn't pay for everything. Every county has to come up with half of the money because the state does provide the other half. That's why we have to fundraise here in Coffee County. We have over 3,600 children enrolled in the program in Coffee County, and so we have to pay for those books that come into the mailboxes of those very excited children every month.
And what you don't understand, a lot of people may not understand, that we had recently a test, and we've talked about this before, a national test to see whether a kid can go from 3rd to 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And the reading proficiency on this first test, now the 2 years of COVID were the 2 years before the test, so that really wasn't a fair thing because a lot of these kids weren't in school for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a reader, and I go and spend an hour a week with the classroom at East Lincoln School, and you can tell, I'm with the 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the children who've had reading in the home
Mm-hmm.
and those who haven't.
You can.
And this is to be sure that your economic and social status in the community has nothing to do with the ability to have books in your home that are the type of books that young people learn from. And so when they get to a school age level, they at least have a start. And you can tell the ones as you sit, because I work with them 3 at a time. We tell a story and we do something when we first get there for about 15 minutes, and then I have 3 at a time for 45 minutes to go and work on words, acknowledging what the words are and how they go together, and long A's and short E's and double E's and all that stuff. And you can tell the ones who have been read to.
Yes, and it's all about building that foundation for early literacy in the home, fostering the love of books, and then them just having that experience with the book, holding the book, sitting with their family, seeing the words, connecting the words and the pictures. And 90% of your brain development is formulated by the age of 3 years old. And that's why we start this at birth. The very first book the children get at birth is that Little Engine That Could book. And that's always the first book for Imagination Library. And some of the children get that as soon as they leave the hospital. Here at Vanderbilt Tullahoma Harton, they're getting that book when they leave the hospital. And so that's their first book, and they're building up that library, building up that love for reading, bonding with their families, their siblings. And they've got their own book, and they're excited to get that book every month. And that's what Imagination Library is all about. And that's why we're partnering with Feel So Good.
And how many people do you have that are involved with you in this Imagination Library group that is supporting and pushing this?
Okay, the Imagination Library of Coffee County board consists of 10 people right now. We have a couple more people that we're adding soon. And so usually around 10 people of us volunteers, and we do a lot of community events promoting, signing up children, just getting out there for awareness and just being part of the community. But fundraisers are also a really big part of it.
Oh, yes. And you know, there's so many things going on and so many different things that need to be accomplished that finding that dollar bill is not always easy. No. And finding volunteers.
Yes.
Finding volunteers we need, and I don't want to be preachy, but we need for our youth to get involved.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I can think about when Fran and I were in our 20s, you know, we were doing stuff. We were working with South Jackson or working with Heart or working with cancer or whatever. And the young people now don't seem to be quite as engaging. And of course, this is an old man saying those dang kids are going to be the ruination of the world, you know, but they're not, because our parents were saying that about us.
Exactly.
But we're still here.
I agree.
But
I
just,
agree.
you know, get involved. Get involved with something that's good. And, you know, you see a mom, and a lot of my friends' children have children, and you see them at ball games, and there's 3 or 4 of them, and they're involved in all of this stuff. So get involved and help someone who might not be as fortunate as you are be able to have a library.
Yes.
And I was looking through some stuff, and I still have some of my books that I read when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah. Yes.
And I treasure them.
Yes, and all the children, as they go into kindergarten and first grade, they've had the same experience with the same books.
Right.
And so they're all on that base level together. And some of them have been read to more, some of them, you know, had more involved families, some of them might have been in child care. They all have different backgrounds, but they all have those imagination library books that they have in common that really helps out with that 3rd grade reading level, because it doesn't start in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. It starts at birth. It starts birth to 3 years old. That's why we want to have those quality interactions with the children. And that starts, you know, big part of that is literacy and early literacy and everything we can do with books.
Right, right.
So.
And there's something else about a book that you can't get with a Kindle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that is you get to feel the paper.
The feeling, the touching, the holding, but also when you're reading with your family and your siblings or even your dog, you have that interaction. With your parents, you have that human interaction, hearing their voice, hearing them sound out the words. It is something very different going on in the brain than when you're looking at a screen or watching TV. It is really firing off all those synapses that are helping children with that early literacy.
And if you have a pet, and I've seen them do it, and it's a book about a dog, and you've got a dog, you'll open that book, and I remember doing it and saying, you know what that is? That's you. You know, so you're interacting in a whole lot of ways.
Yes, dogs are great reading partners. There's a lot of big
and cats.
There's a lot of big programs out there that children can read with dogs, whether it's at the library or at their school.
Very
So
good.
dogs
Very
are
good.
great reading partners.
Well, and give us the date again and the time.
Okay, November 3rd. Let me give y'all a rundown. November 3rd, there'll be Imagination Library board members on hand all day long at Fuel So Good, and we might have our favorite dolly there for pictures. And we might be giving away some little door prizes, and we might have some, you know, Halloween candy if you want to say trick or treat. But we'll all be there all day long on November 3rd at Fuel So Good, and you can donate and you can learn more about Imagination Library, and you can have the best coffee around at Fuel So Good. We'll also have a donation box on the counter all that week. They have great staff, great coffee, and great food. I forgot to mention, I love the pimento cheese there too.
Pimento cheese is good.
Pimento cheese.
And
so.
I'll tell you what, I know now that it's not wise. Our parents tell their children not to take any baked goods on Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know what some idiot might put in it.
Yeah.
But for your own personal use, you go down there and look at the Halloween cookies that she does. Noelle can do that, and they are absolutely beautiful, and they taste. I'll tell you what they are. They're fuel that's so good.
Oh, yes.
Always.
Fuel
Thank
so
you, dear.
good. Thank
Appreciate you being here.
Imagination
we'll see you
Library.
there. Imagination
Yes.
Library.
Okay.
This tastes so good.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden. I couldn't do my flower beds. I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And I'm Pat Welch. And John, we're here today for segment 88.
Blinky and Scratchy.
That's Blinky and Scratchy, and we're out 88 and out the gate.
We're going to... This has nothing to do with the subject matter in which we're going to speak about.
The we've had one recent that was a really good segue, so I guess we can balance that out with one
that'll
that's
be
gonna
rare.
Be tough.
That'll be rare.
Yeah.
I've played around and played around this old town too long. Summer's coming on, yes, winter's coming on. I've laid around and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on. Papa rides to Johnny, but Johnny can't come home. Johnny can't come home, no, Johnny can't come home. Papa rides to Johnny, but Johnny can't come home. He's been in the chain gang too long. I've laid around and played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, yes, winter's coming on. I've laid around and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on. Yes, I feel like I've got to travel on. You know, I don't know if that's the right words to that song or not. I learned it years ago, and I didn't go over them too much, but maybe it's close enough that people can recognize it.
John, you're doing better holding on to the words of the songs you got questions about than the ones you're supposed to be able to handle.
Well,
you swallowed a word or two last week.
Alzheimer's is being held off at the moment.
That's it.
But anyway.
That's it. Classic mind. Classic mind.
We're going to talk. I think this is so interesting. Now, the folks out there might not think it's interesting, but when I was a young man, my brother
played in a rock and roll group there in Murfreesboro at MTSU. He was majoring in music and dance bands and this sort of thing, and while minoring in his academics there at MTSU. But anyway, they had a group called Thankful Taylor, and Thankful Taylor. I said, Jimmy, where'd y'all come up with that name? He said, well, it's a woman over here in Rutherford County that swallowed a snake one time, and I thought, how odd a name that is, Thankful Taylor. Well, I did a little research later on to find out that Thankful Taylor really was a lady who swallowed a snake. She was located near Christiana. A young woman lived with her mother, stepfather, east of Christiana in south
When would this
Rutherford
been,
County.
John? When does a...
It's in the late 1800s.
Okay.
And about 1870s. That
and there's
stretch.
a picture of, that's her right there, John?
That's Thankful Taylor right there. She and this.
Is that before or after the snake?
Listen to this description of her.
Okay.
Said Thankful was a stringy girl in her teens who was not much in the way of looks, but hardworking and sturdy health.
Well, back in Christiana in those days, that'd probably be the strong and hard worker would probably be a better mate selection.
I mean, somebody could have written that a little nicer, I think. One day while taking a break from field work, now she was young, but kids started in the fields early in life. I think she might have had this situation as early as age 6. She stopped at a spring and took water. She was trying to refresh herself from a spring. Well, cup your hands or get your head down in there, take a drink, whatever. And she felt maybe something, a little string she might have swallowed. But several weeks later, Thankful began to suffer convulsions, interrupting her sleep and shocking family members by their increasing intensity. On recommendation from a sympathetic neighbor, Thankful drank strong liquor and wine, which produced even more convulsions. Some witnesses of her suffering...
That had nothing to do with the snake and all with the whiskey.
reported seeing movement in her abdomen, even when the poor girl was still sleeping. Thankful was afflicted by a live snake in her stomach. Strangely enough, medical history tells us that reptiles growing inside the human body has happened years prior to this, even. Probably still goes on today.
This is a classic. Keep going.
You don't know about this, do you, Pat?
No,
You're such a smart aleck and think you know about everything. Dr. Bartley Newton White, Sr., a native belt buckle gentleman, was identified as a neighboring physician and a member of the Rutherford County Medical Society. From 6 years to these convulsive spells worsened, she was 13. That's when it became very serious. Several physicians had treated her over a period of years without a conclusive diagnosis or successful remedy. A severe attack had occurred in 1869 while attending Faithful in February of 1873, when the convulsions lasted for several days, but then seemed to be relieved. The attacks resumed in August of 73, and Dr. White noted the dark brown head of what he concluded was a tapeworm in Thankful's mouth.
Ooh.
When he attempted to extract it by thrusting a pointed instrument through it, the patient, Thankful, jerked his hand and his instrument away. This attack of convulsions persisted for weeks and months later. Later, a Dr. Joshua Berger from McMinnville examined her. Her symptoms were more violent, and movements of this reptile in her stomach could be easily seen. Dr. Berger and Dr. White brought in a third physician, a Dr. Whitson.
All right, now we've got Murfreesboro and McMinnville doctors working on this medical history. Yes.
This poor lady.
And where did the third man come from? Is that noted in
I don't know if
research?
I might get to it in my notes.
Okay.
Oh,
MD Anderson, John Hopkins,
I think not
Mayo
very far,
Clinic.
not very far from Christiana, I'm sure. On Monday and Tuesday, January 26, 27, 1874, the story of a woman with a snake in her stomach appeared in the McMinnville and Nashville newspapers. Note this, physicians in the 1870s were apparently not bound by patient confidentiality.
HIPAA had no, it wasn't up then.
No. Treatments were tried to induce vomiting, salt water. Next tried starving the patient and starving the snake. He then gave Thankful a combination of coal oil, spirits of turpentine, carbolic acid in very large doses. Apparently, both Thankful and her affliction survived the treatment. The snake and she survived these treatments. Berger, the doctor, theorized that the reptile could go down into the intestine and remain there while the medicines were being given. Finally, in 1874, Dr. Berger was summoned to the home of Thankful Taylor. The mother reported that she grabbed the reptile from Thankful's mouth and extracted it. It proved to be a living snake. Show that picture. 23 inches in length with light and dark stripes and white abdomen. The patient commenced vomiting profusely, but expressed she felt relieved, like a great load had been removed from her stomach. Now,
how long did you say that snake?
23 inches in length.
Gone from when she swallowed it at 6 years old, was that right? And it's like a little string.
Like a thread or whatever in the water, and that wonderful spring water that she had tasted.
John, this story is either going to bring the conversation with John and Pat to absolute national acclaim, or it's going to finish us. There won't be any in between. Keep going.
In the handwritten documentation of the case prepared in August of 1874, Berger wrote, she has been relieved of all symptoms, and she had previous to the extraction of the snake. In fact, she seems to have been restored to perfect health. The 140-year-old specimen bathed in a preservative, a fancy little jar, is a quiet reminder of the media and professional furor caused by the 1874 case of Rutherford County woman with a snake in her stomach, the lady known as Thankful Taylor. And the band my brother played in, Thankful Taylor was the name of their band. They picked up sort of a odd type of name and an odd type situation.
It's been a challenge to make through that, John, and you accused me and my wife has accused me of scratching my legs when I was nervous, but I'm going to tell you, when you got to the point there where the doctor could see 2 eyes of something in her mouth, that I had to clamp down on the seat to hold on where I didn't.
That would be so scary.
That would be awful.
That'd be awful. But it happened it's happened before, and it's happened probably afterwards, but Lord have mercy, I think if I drink water out of a hose, back in Chapel Hill they say hose pipe. I think I'm going to let it run a few minutes before I take a sip.
I'm going to make sure
there might be a spider or something else inside there.
I'm going to go see one of my relatives in the medical profession next time I think I've swallowed something that feels like a thread. John, that probably wraps up 88.
Yeah.
And we've always referenced where the management let us come back. I imagine this program will definitely undergo a severe evaluation process from management. We hope we can come back.
Some people be saying the poor snake.
That's correct. Over and out, maybe for the last time, but hopefully not. Thank you all.
Bye.
Talking history about this and that. It's Conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Hi there, this is Terry Stroop, Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration. Summer's about to wind down, fall's right around the corner. It's time to get signed up for your fall maintenance checks, and let's get out and support our local high school football this year. Let's go, Cats.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
The Motowners are coming back, John.
The Four Tops.
No, the Motowners.
The Motowners, but they do the Four Tops.
They do a lot of
Imperials and
they do
Platters.
a lot of great people. This is happening next week, November 4th.
And that's on a Saturday?
That's on a Saturday, and there's the way you get your ticket. And one thing I wanted to talk about was before the show, which starts at 7, we have the food concessions will be open before 6.
With a meal.
For a meal. We're going to have a barbecue plate for sale, and it has, everything on it that you get at barbecue. And I'm having some singers from the community do a concert in the front room as we wait on, as people get their food, and then we'll go into the show.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And that's Zenobia McGee, Annette Villes, Emma Coleman, Beth Taylor, and her daughter. Oh, gosh. Right now I can't think of her daughter's name. I forgot to write it down.
It's okay.
But it's a fabulous group, and they'll be doing music for about 30 minutes, and I hope people will come and buy food and sit down and listen to this wonderful program. And then the show. The Motowners are back by popular demand.
And last time when they came, the place was absolutely packed, and people were on their feet dancing.
I know, it was fun.
Because that's the music that the Four Tops and the Supremes and all of those early Motown groups that when I was in high school, that was the music.
I love that music. Mr. Hadley, who is the director, does a lot of historic stuff too. He tells about where it came from and when and where, and it's just an interesting event. And I think we have some footage to show today.
Well, and get your ticket, and after you see this, you'll really want to get your ticket.
Look out, baby, 'cause here I come. I'm giving you the love is true, so get ready, so get ready. Wanna try to make you love the truth, so get ready, 'cause here I come. Get ready, 'cause here I come. I'm on my way. Get ready, 'cause here I come. But it was just my imagination once again. Running away with me. a while. No, I don't wish you no bad luck, baby. But there's no ifs and buts. Oh, baby. You're gonna miss my loving. You're gonna miss my loving. You're gonna miss my love. You're gonna miss my love.
I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my life to live. I got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive.
Baby, I need your loving. I've got to have all your loving. Baby, I need your loving. I've got to have all your loving. I can turn the gray sky blue. I can make it rain whenever I want it to. I can build a castle from a single grain of sand. And I can make a ship sail, honey, on dry land. But my life is incomplete and that's all blue. Take it next to you, babe. Take it next to you. Take it next to you, babe. Take it next to you.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one. Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 Woo.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size.
Yeah.
Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our buddy Lyle Russell, who is one of my favorite people in the world, so talented and does so many things, has started the Lunch and Learn back up over at the community center. And that's a time that you can go and listen to different subjects. And Lyle will either talk about it himself or he'll have a specialist in there.
Yeah.
I know he had Lee Gibson over there one time talking about songwriting and different stuff. And but it's Lunch and Learn, and it's always fun. It's always something good. And Lyle is just always full of great information, and he's a ghost storyteller. He has a
He does a
blog
great
about
job,
ghost
yeah.
stories. It's great.
And I think he would like it if anybody in the audience has a ghost story. He would do something with it.
Oh, I'm sure he
They'd want
would.
to share
But
it.
what we want to do right now is Lyle's going to give a little report on all things good going on from his direction, and we'll see about what he's got to say.
Thank you all very much for coming out today to our restart of Lunch and Learn. So the first thing I'd like to tell you is that I am not a paranormal investigator. I don't go out into buildings. I have, but not for paranormal stuff. But I don't go out into places seeking this kind of stuff out. I just like to tell stories. And this started when I was very young, actually, and I'm going to, hopefully my mouse will allow me to scroll on here. Let me see if it'll let me do that. So this started for me when I was a kid. And there are two faces up there that I credit with my desire to like to tell stories and the podcast that ended up resulting of it. So this copy of my Catherine Tucker Wyndham book, 13 Tennessee Ghosts and Jeffrey, was one of my favorite books when I was a kid. And the thing that I really like about this one is that this was a gift to my great-grandmother from her doctor's wife. And it still has the inscription in the front when people used to write in the front of books when they would give them away. And to me, I like that history stuff, and I think that stuff is cool. So, but I was given this book. Of course, she read it. She wasn't into this sort of thing, but she gave it to me. And so as I was growing up in Florida, never thinking I would ever live in Tennessee, I was reading about these Tennessee ghosts from her book. And so that's her there. She's passed away now, but I wish I would have lived here when she did, because I would love to have met her. She wrote a lot of neat Southern ghost books. She did 13 Ghosts in Alabama, 13 Ghosts of Tennessee, 13 Ghosts of Georgia. She had that whole series going, and it was a really fun read. She writes them in such a way that they're not scary, but they at least give off that creepy feel that makes you think you're reading a ghost story. And so reading that, and I'm an avid reader, so reading that when I was a kid, of course, it scared me because I was a kid. But as I grew up and started looking into these stories, I just thought, that's cool. And so I started turning them into verbal stories. When I was a scoutmaster, when we would go camping, and I was in Scouts as a kid, my scoutmaster was a great ghost storyteller around the campfire. And so I tried to emulate what I learned from him when I had my own Scouts. And so, we got into the campfire stories, and I think let me finish telling you about this part first before I go into the campfire stories. So the other thing that really had an impact on me was another guy named Andrew Mankey, and that's him there on the left. And if you watch Amazon Prime, there's a show on there called Lore. That started as a podcast, and he gets on there, and now he does worldwide stories. I'm just looking at Tennessee, but he tells all these just bizarre, strange, paranormal stories from around the world, and he sets them to music and makes it a little bit creepy. And so between Catherine Tucker Wyndham's stories and his format of creepy stories set to music, that's how I got started doing a podcast, and it is a lot of fun. I do it for fun. I don't do it for money or anything like that. I just enjoy telling stories. And so now let me get to the Boy Scout part of it. So for those of you who are from here or live around here or have for a while, Old Stone Fort in Manchester, right up the road, was a crossroads during prehistoric times in the United States. And it wasn't the United States, obviously, back then. But several factions of mound-dwelling peoples during prehistoric times would meet up at that place, and that was where they shared their stories. That was the origin of campfire stories. That's where it started in those types of meetups. And so that happened to be on a central crossroad from, I think it was like the Louisiana, the New Orleans basin, and there was one in Ohio, then there was one a little further west in Missouri, and one over in South Carolina. And right at the center of those was basically Old Stone Fort, right next to Manchester. And so all of those stories would come into that place and then get spread back to those populations before history was even recorded. So humans have been telling stories before it was cool to tell stories. And as that went on, they started adding pictures, cave paintings. Things got a little bit more theatrical. Theater actually started just from telling stories, and people would gather just like we are today to go see somebody tell a story but act it out. And we do that at South Jackson when we go up and see a play or a performing art or something like that. So this has been going on for a long time. And now in modern times, for those of you who still like to go camping, there is nothing better than an around the fire ghost story. I love doing that. I love doing that with my Scouts when I have my troop. And I still like to do it today when I get the opportunity, if I go out in the woods with my friends or my kids or something like that. and just sit around just like that. And this goes back to prehistoric times. Humans have not changed that much that we like to tell stories. What's changed, though, is the format. So now, if you don't get around to campfire, but you're driving to work or you're in Nashville and you're stuck in traffic and you want to have something on that distracts you, you can throw on a podcast. And so I tried to convert my stories into that format, and that's why I like to do it. And so right now I've got about 13 episodes out. I'm going to tell you about 2 today, and then if I have time, I'll tell you about a third one that I find really interesting. But I don't want to hold anybody up. And before I get into these stories, I just want to do a quick disclaimer that if you got to go back to work, or you need to go to the bathroom, or if you're just tired of listening to me talk and you need to leave, you will not offend me at all. Feel free to hop up and do whatever you got to do. It's not going to bother me one bit. So with that, away we go. So this is a unique story that apparently is not very well known worldwide, but localized to Millington, Tennessee, around northern Memphis, and over in that Mississippi River corridor of Tennessee. There's a lot of people that know about the Meeman Shelby Forest Pigman. So this guy's story is a little bit more sad than scary, but it gets a little scary towards the end. So here's kind of how it went. Right outside of Millington, Tennessee, which, believe it or not, Tennessee has a Navy base, and it is in Millington, Tennessee. So if you ever wondered, yes, we do have a Navy base here. But right outside of that, back in the early, I want to say it was the early 40s, might have been the late 30s, they built the Chickasaw Ordnance Works, which is right next to the Meeman Shelby Forest. And if you ever get to go over there, this is about where it is. You see where the Mississippi is north of Memphis. It is a huge forested space. This is a very large forest preserve. And it is dark, it is overgrown, and it is scary to go in there. I've hiked it a couple of times in different places. It's a very beautiful place to go, though. There is no better place. If you're a bird watcher along the Mississippi coast right there in that forest, that's one of the greatest places to go watch aquatic birds, herons, all that stuff. It's right on the Mississippi Flyway. It's a beautiful place to go. But there's a little bit of a dark side to it. So Chickasaw Ordnance Works was this monstrous World War II era building where they created, what's that stuff called? Gun cotton. It's a wadding that goes inside artillery shells. It's highly explosive. It's made out of all sorts of crazy chemicals and things like that makes it ignite very quickly. And it is nothing to mess around with. They actually don't even make it anymore because it was so volatile. But this particular place, the Chickasaw Ordnance Works, that's what they made there, and they made it well. They operated all the way from the late 30s all the way, so yeah, it was the late 30s, that's right. So they operated all the way from 1939 all the way through the end of World War II till it closed in 1946. And so while they were there, around the 1944-ish time period, they boasted, I forget how many days it was, whatever the math works out to be, but 0 accidents. They had this place that had all this volatile chemical and all this stuff in it, and they had no workplace accidents. OSHA didn't exist yet, but OSHA would have been very proud. But unfortunately, they did end up having one. So this big factory sits out there kind of right on the edge of the forest, and it's very isolated for a purpose. It's explosive. And all of the employees that used to have to go in and out of it, they would be searched by military personnel to make sure that they did not have anything on them that would ignite anything. To the point it was so serious that they wouldn't even let them take ballpoint pens inside because they were afraid the click would make a spark. And ballpoint pens were relatively early. That was around the time they were starting to come around. And so they did have a lot of metal parts. So that made sense back then. Now they're all plastic and you don't get that anymore. But that was how serious they took that whole explosive issue. So back then, though, there were also not as many warnings and dangers out there now about smoking. And so a lot of people smoked. So this one gentleman who worked in the factory, he lived nearby and right over in Millington, supposedly, went to where he would dump his chemicals at the end of the day into the creek, which you obviously cannot do anymore. But back then they did, there were some environmental issues, but they would dump some of the leftover chemicals right into the creek. And so what he did is where his route was, where he dumped, he went to a hollowed out tree down there and hid his cigarettes. And so he goes down there one day to do his stuff. He's out there by himself, pushes over his barrels, and while he's standing there waiting for all that nasty stuff to float out into the creek, he goes over to the tree, sparks a cigarette. Well, he had gun cotton residue all over him. And of course, there's a miniature explosion right in his face. So the story goes is that disfigured him pretty badly, as you can imagine. Highly flammable explosion right in front of your face, you're going to have some lasting scars from that. But apparently, his were pretty severe. And so after this accident happened, of course, it was a big deal. And there actually is some record that I have found of an accident like this. I haven't found any specifics on who the person was or where exactly they lived or what exactly happened. So this is the legend part of it. But apparently after he finished recovering in Kennedy Hospital in Memphis, when he got out, he was so badly disfigured that he resembled a pig. Had no nose left, severely scarred, ears were pretty much gone or shaped to the point where they were almost pointed. And so that would be very shocking to see somebody like that. Granted, times have changed. We're not in 1946 anymore. So if that were to happen to somebody today, we would probably be a little bit more compassionate and understanding. Back then, it was not necessarily like that with everybody. And so once he recovered, he was a family man, but unfortunately he lost his family because his children were afraid of him, caused some issues with his wife, obviously. His friends kind of shunned him. He was he was in a bad way. And, you know, in a way, that's why I say his story is more sad than scary, because if this truly did happen, this poor person was essentially shunned by society because of an accident. So now, go a little bit further ahead. He's lost his family. His friends don't want to be around him anymore. He can't go into places without people staring, pointing, laughing, poking, whatever the case is. And so he basically withdraws from society. And so there's a place right down the street from where this was that it's called Shake Rag Road, and there's a bridge that goes across it. And so the legend goes is that he took up residence under that bridge because no one else would accept him. Now, what was the one place that did accept him, probably because he was already injured, was the factory. He continued to work in the factory after he recovered. When the factory closed, he had nowhere to go. And so he just kind of disappeared. Nobody knew what happened. But a lot of the families that knew this story in that area would warn their kids, because when this factory shut down and they dismantled it, it was kind of dangerous. You know, the old industrial sites, obviously it had explosives, hazardous chemicals, all sorts of things like that. So the parents wanted to keep their kids out of there. Kids like to explore. I did. I went in places like this when I was that age. So they were trying to keep the kids out of there. And so I actually feel like this legend may have sprung up as an effort to scare kids from not going into this place that they weren't supposed to go. But the rumor is that if you went out there to where this factory was, and those smokestacks are still there, you can go see them. They're right off of the road. That if you go out there, that the Pigman will come and visit you if you stand on Shake Rag Road Bridge and say Pigman 3 times.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. The trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
met the enemy, and he is us.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, folks, we're back, and you couldn't find a name, and you
know
found
what?
it.
It's on my list. Kelly Edie, who is going to sing with the other four ladies that are singing.
Well, name the other four ladies. We got time.
It's Cernobia McGee, and who doesn't know Cernobia? Fabulous voice.
Yes.
Annette Villes, my gosh, such a talent, I can't tell you. And then Emma Coleman. They've sung together a lot. And Beth Hamilton Taylor.
Yes.
Everybody knows the Hamiltons, I think.
Hamilton family.
And then Kelly Edie is singing with them, and that's next Saturday, the 4th
Now, Kelly
of
Edie,
November.
didn't you bring a young man from New Orleans here, Edie?
Oh, yeah. Yes, and he was wonderful. Now I can't
Now,
think of
he's
his
one of
first
the
name.
Hamilton's grandsons.
Right. Fabulous. So
Guitar-
much talent. You know that
Yeah.
I used to sing with the Hamilton's father. Walter. He is probably one of the finest guitarists I've ever.
And then he quit. Then he quit playing guitar and started playing piano. I mean, the talent just oozing out of every pore.
The whole entire family.
Well, I've gotten almost as good as Chet Atkins. Let's set this aside and see if I can be as good as Floyd Kramer.
Right.
You know, okay. Well, you're getting there.
Did you know that Floyd Kramer's grandson is now performing his music?
Sure.
And that's I'm going to try to bring them down here. I hope you've got your tickets for the Motowners, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't
by the
forget
way.
Saturday. I don't,
Floyd's grandson is named Jason Coleman.
Right.
And he has a show on WSM-AM every Sunday night.
And he's a fantastic talent.
Fantastic. He's learned how to play that Floyd Kramer style.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if people understand the difference between the performing arts season and our theater season. What I do is a performing arts season, and that's pretty much people that come from other states or other
places,
countries, whatever. And Motowners is the opening of my season that I have responsibility for. So I hope people will come out and fill the house.
Well, see, before South Jackson all came together, you had the community playhouse that was out in Northern Field.
Right.
In an old building out there where you'd have to have an umbrella to go inside if it
and
rained.
A coat. That's right.
And then at the high school was what was the name of that series? It wasn't the performing arts series.
The community concerts.
Community concerts, which was sort of like what you're doing.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to talk about the pre-show was the food, the barbecue plate that we're selling, and the Sunshine Bar will be open, and we have lots of soft drinks for sale and stuff like that. But I just hope people will come out and support this event, because it's not inexpensive.
No, I'm sure it's expensive. I mean, you've got 11, 13, 14 people coming in.
Flying in
just
from
the sound
around
the sound
country.
is expensive. Everything's expensive. But you know what? If you look back when you were listening to that music, when you were young, you probably had a cold beer, a mixed drink in your hand. South Jackson Civic Center, baby, you can do that right now. You can have an adult beverage, and you could go and pretend like you're 18 again and dance in the aisle, dance in front of your chair, dance in front of the stage, whatever you want to do. Go see the Motowners, folks. You'll love it. And don't forget, Thursday night in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Tullahoma plays Shelbyville for the Region Championship. Fill the stands, folks. Be a Wildcat fan and fill the stands. We'll see you next time.
That was cute. Be a Wildcat fan.